All right, it's 8:30. I'll call the meeting in order. I want to welcome everyone to the Mud One Board of Directors meeting. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Will you kindly stand and join me as we honor our country and state with the Pledge of Allegiance and our flags? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Hartley, you're supposed to be our historian there and take care of that. All right, item number 3, receive comments from the general public. Has anyone signed up? Okay. Consider an action request for adjustments. Is there any requests? All right, thank you. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion and second to accept the consent agenda?
Make the motion.
I second the motion.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Regular agenda, item number 10, consider an act on a resolution casting to address the district's vote in Montgomery County Central Appraisal District Board of Directors election.
Arthur, he sits on the board as to speak, and he's running again, and this is the big ballot for all the judges.
Did he win the preliminary?
Sorry.
Did he win the preliminary?
If you have 3 votes.
Right.
If you put those votes to anybody but Arthur, they will go to Arthur. He's a special district representative. So that's what you have is 3 votes.
Okay,
I make a motion. We cast our 3 votes for Arthur.
I second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, item number 11, consider an act on the update policy of RNS 12 rates for water service and rates for sewer service. It's in your agenda on page 20 through 23.
So RNS 12 and RNS 13 are the documents that essentially memorialize the rates that you approved last month. So there has been no changes in that to what you approved. So it's just a motion to approve the adjustment of RNS 12 and RNS 13.
All right, I make a motion to,
Motion.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Your turn.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the rates. RNS 12 and 13.
Let's hear from Cindy. Second.
I second.
Good. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Some comment. I thought we were going to get all the muds back together. It took us 8 years to get them all together. And then they got some new directors and they want to say, oh, we're different.
Not out of choice. There's 8 altogether and then 2 essentially had to do something different for financial reasons.
Particularly MUD 36, since their tax rate is so low.
I'm glad you brought that question because I had the same question. I would assume they were all the same. Okay. Item 13, receive the regular monthly SJRA division report. Oh, I'm sorry. Item 12, discuss matters related to the director's election to be called for May 4th.
I can speak on that one. By the way, I'm Katie Flacio, filling in for Brian. I work with him on the Woodlands districts and I've attended some of y'all's meetings, but it's been a while.
Well,
Yeah, thank you. He's at a charity event today, so he's not able to.
he's playing golf. Is that what it is? I was gonna say he's playing golf.
Play shoot, but it's for charity,
Same
so,
height.
you know. As y'all probably know, there's next year's an even numbered year, so there'll be a director's election on May 4th. You're required to post notice of the candidate filing period, which is from mid-January to mid-February. You just have to post that in advance. So today we're just looking for authorization to post that notice. And I also want to let y'all know, it looks like Mindy and Hartley are up for election this year, and we'll have the director applications ready for you, probably around the
Yeah,
time of the
three of us.
January meeting.
Yeah,
So Andrew,
three of us, yes.
Yep, so we'll make sure we have the director packets ready for y'all, probably around the time of the January. But today we just need the, motion to post that notice.
Where's it being posted?
I think it gets posted on the website and at Woodlands Water and here.
Okay. Has it been determined where the voting is going to take place? Are we still going to do it here?
I thought I was aware of.
I think that will partially depend on if you go joint with Montgomery County or not. And, that will be up to y'all, but I don't think right now we have a recommendation one way or the other. No. Usually it's a bit cheaper to go joint with the county, and I believe y'all have gone joint in the past, but I think you've also gone independent in the past as well, so.
I did it once in the past that I remember. And I seem to recall that it was actually quite a bit more expensive. Do you
It's a
recall?
small fortune to do
Yeah.
it with the county.
With the county,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure was.
Well,
you have to rent the, voting equipment and stuff if you do it independently, but, yeah, we'll have more information about that later.
yeah, and if others don't have an issue, and that's when we picked up all the costs. Because there are only a couple of us on the ballot. But we've gone with the county now for how many years? You remember?
I can only think of one time we went with the county. It
It was about $20,000. No, we did it once.
was more than that. It was like almost 50,000 to do it with the county. Yeah, it was expensive because that really stood out. And we can go back and look, but I mean, it's expensive with the county.
Yeah,
I know we've done it once.
Yeah, that's all I remember too. It's just once. Yeah.
That's 50,000 for just our district or all the districts?
No, just for ours, the time we did it.
Previously, we did it in-house.
and you
Okay.
can certainly go independent again. I think there's different considerations. Cost is one of them, and then, there's a bit more liability, doing it independently because you have to appoint an election agent and they have to make sure they're complying with all the different various, it's just gotten more and more complicated over
Well,
the years,
But
but
it's just a 1 day vote, right? It's not over multiple days.
there is early voting.
There
There
is.
will be early voting.
Yeah. The school districts and the township all were required to vote on May. And they both got exempted, so they are at the general election. And that's made the big difference. Now, if the township were in the election, as the WCA used to be. Anyway,
But we'll have more information.
Problem's gonna be, it's not gonna be that big of a election because the only thing beyond it being like the sheriff and I think the state rep.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. So it's not like it's
Would be
one of the
able to-
November elections or something like that. I don't think the township is.
and if there are no contested races, you don't have to have an election.
Can we get an advance quote on the price to go with the township?
Yes, we can definitely, I'm sure we'll have more information about all that, but I'll make sure that we, the cost.
Okay.
Okay, I make a motion then that we authorize posting of the election.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Item 13, SJRA report.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our information, our monthly reports in your packet, fairly routine month. One thing I'd like to point out on page 31, there's a little bit of information, a graph where we've been participating in a wastewater treatment sampling, virus sampling in the wastewater stream. Several months back, we were approached by Stanford University, some independent labs to participate in this study. What they're trying to do, they're trying to hone their methods in detecting viruses in the wastewater stream. Everything from COVID to the flu, monkeypox. There's about 11 viruses they're studying. But there's a website you can go to. It'll pull up a map of the United States. We're easy to find. I think we're the only representative for Southeast Texas. You can drill down. All three facilities are participating in this. There's no cost to the MUDs or the River Authority, matter they pay us. It's about $1,350 per week to participate in this. So I'm not sure how long it'll go, but so far I think we've been doing it for about 6 months now, so it's a pretty good database of information, some trends. Yeah, good information. December 4th is the next all MUD meeting. Everyone's encouraged to attend. See what they're going to, and it's going to be mostly financial information given on the 4th. But if you have any questions on our information, I'll be happy to answer.
I got one question on page, I think it's 26, you have water loss.
Yes, sir.
How do we compare to other entities out there? I mean, I know the city of Houston is, notorious for all their water loss, but
Yeah,
how do we compare?
and from the AWWA standard,
Percentage wise, I know they're much larger, but just percentage wise.
and from the AWWA standards, we're a little above average, but the standard is 6%. Is what they consider standard water loss, 6 to 8%. So we're above that. I believe we're 4.8% total. So we're a little above average.
These new meters that we install are supposed to significantly drop the loss percentage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As far as you have the retail side, it definitely does. And being that they were just installed, that took care of a lot of maybe old leaks from the past and what have you too. So it's a tighter system.
I guess that was my question gonna be, have you seen any improvement since we had the new meters in, and what can you attribute to? Is it major breaks out there with the old piping we have out there, or infrastructure, or what is it?
From the wholesale side, a lot of our water loss is going to be due to system flushing, system maintenance, main breaks. There's a lot of unknown things that we're not aware of. Say if the fire department has a fire and they pull a lot of water out. And I'm working with them, trying to get a program set up with them to where we get that information from them. So there are some unknowns in there. But a lot of hours, though, the retail side, they can speak to the meters as far as if they're seeing improvements or updates.
When they have a fire, that's considered a water break, or
Accounted for.
is it really?
I try to estimate it, but just so we can account for it, but we don't, there's no billing for it. There's no meters on it.
Now, does this include the pipes for the lake water?
Or the,
Lake water.
oh, no, sir, no, sir. That water loss is separate. That delivery, so once it's delivered to us, it's part of our system. That goes into the account once it goes to our system, but
Because we lost a tremendous amount when we had the break there on Grogan's Mill and Woodlands Parkway.
you know, so that doesn't affect the Woodlands water loss. That wouldn't affect it.
Okay.
Yeah, water losses, we looked at it a couple months ago, back in 2019, somewhere in there, they were hovering around 12%. And then after all the AMI meters came in, it's been hovering in the 4s. So it absolutely had an
New
effect.
meters have made a big difference.
Good. Okay, that's the only question I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 14, receive the attorney's report. Thank you. Received and act upon the general manager's report.
I too have a fairly light list. Just wanted to let you know that I did attend the Texas Water Conservation Association conference 2 weeks ago. And then last week I attended the AWWA waterline condition-based assessment training in Dallas. That was a 2.5 day training talking about how to assess water lines. So myself, Dan from SGRA, and David Smith from 46 were there. So we just wanted to update you that we are trying to finalize a date to have a reception for Jim and his retirement, trying to get him get a date that's he's able to make it. And then want to point out we have a couple staff anniversaries. Jeannie, we have 27 years, and Wayne is at 10.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then wanted to kick it over to John to give you an update on public education outreach.
Morning.
Good morning, John.
Page 47, you have your communications report. So we're in the fourth quarter, the last month of our 12-month strategic plan. So what Bill focusing on the value of water, but we're also communicating on a variety of other topics. A lot of different topics actually right now, just given timing of everything. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of some of the major ones that we're pushing out now and will be through the end of the year. We're continuing to seed in more and more about infrastructure renewal. Certainly not getting any specifics at this point, but just speaking more to the fact that some of our components of our system are reaching their end of their useful life, and making folks aware of that. You're going to see a lot of information now in the near future on billing related matters. The current water bill has the rate adjustment notice on the back. We're following up with emails, social media posts, and so forth. Of course, those will take effect on the 1st. We'll continue to message about that through the end of the year and beyond. And we're reformatting the back of the bill so they can compare 23 versus 24 rates. It's exactly how those rates have changed. We're also infusing in that message reminder about what MUD taxes have done over time. And the fact that we have not had a significant retail rate in 8 years, or any retail rate in about 8 years for most MUDs. Right. So we still look very good, very competitive on our rates. I just finished a rate study and we're still below average compared to regional providers. All that part of the message.
Good. I can give you my wife's number and you can talk to her about how the only tax that went up was our mud tax.
I want to congratulate you on that rate study. And also I found extremely interesting the questionnaire that you sent out. And I thought, man, I'm going to ace this because the first question is, how much do you know about your mud? Well, after being around here for 12 or 14 years, I'm going to ace this questionnaire, but there are several areas that I'm not positive of. And I'm not going to reveal my inadequacy by saying what those are. But I feel that as a MUD director and a past president, trustee, or yada, yada, that I should have aced it. And if I didn't, how much more is the rest of the public?
Yeah, I asked at the GPA meeting, the WWA meeting, where are the answers? Where are the answers? Because you have a couple of questions that say, who does so-and-so? And you have San Jacinto River Authority, you have the MUD, and you have,
Lone Star and
and depending on how you interpret the question, the answer could be a couple. So I'm wondering where we get the answers. So next meeting, give us a sheet with the questions and the answers, please.
There is no answer key.
You're not wrong. And the PEC subcommittee designed those questions last year. We issued the community survey at that point. This is the second round. We did not want to change anything from one round to the next, so that we can track impact better. That said, actually, we did make one change. We added a couple questions, but we didn't change the wording on any of the questions. So we can compare apples to apples over a year.
what kind of response have you gotten?
Oh, great response.
Yeah, we're, as of yesterday, we're about 700 respondents. Last year we did 950.
Unbelievably.
We have another week to run it. So more than a statistically valid sample size for sure. But back to your question, I do think that we take a look at those questions after this run and see what tweaks we could make to improve them.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent guide on your public awareness plan on what to focus on. And I also like the questions, are you aware that our infrastructure is getting old and so forth? And I think that's a good preparation of what's coming down the road.
Yeah. Example of, again, how we're trying to seed some of that messaging more and more.
Yeah.
So that wraps up next week, and then I will, of course, present the findings to you next summer meeting. All right. Then you see some other topics there that are being pushed out right now. Do want to note that we have a new element to our website. We added a news section, timely news items, also service alerts will house here, and there'll be an archive section to that as well. And the next couple pages, more examples of our marketing that's out now, the upcoming water bill ad, and upcoming Woodlands Community Magazine article coming out in December. And with that, you have any questions?
I think you guys are doing a fabulous job on notifying the residents with information. You know, I mean, compared to what it used to be, that used to be one of the most critical complaints that we would get. I think you guys are doing a great job, really do. The only thing I would add is, and I mentioned it before, you know, everybody always wants to know how much rain did we get yesterday? And, you know, I don't know. To me, it would just be something that would make people go, because that's one of the biggest conversations everybody has, you know, and there's always, you know, 103,000 different views on how much rain we got. You know, well, I got 6 inches in Panther Creek, or I got 2 inches in Groveland's Mill. You know, and that would probably make people go to the website even more just to find out, because you know, you come out with your weekly thing on, do I need to water this week? And you know, you said, well, we got a ½ inch last week, or, you know, we got 2 inches last week. And so just something I just think would the residents would really like. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but
I agree on that.
Part of the difficulty is the Woodlands is so big that West Woodlands versus East or Middle.
sure. I mean, I'm not saying one. I'm just saying, you know, you can have multiple that just says, hey, in the east part of town, we got 3 inches, and the west part of town, we got
Sure.
an inch.
Yeah, it's a significant difference, or can be.
Yeah.
So much agreed. We've been actually working on doing exactly that for the past 6 months with Harris, Galveston Subsidence District. So they present our precipitation data, you know, that we have 9 meters, 8 scattered around the woodlands. And so you can find those through their website. But it's you know, you have to take a couple steps. It's not the simplest for folks to access. What we want to do is take that information, that map, and put that right on our homepage.
That would be
So,
great. You know, they don't want to go to some other website. They just
one
want to
more
go.
reason to come to our website and see what else we have there. I had hoped to actually have that accomplished by now, but we're working through some technical issues, but hopefully by the end of the year.
Then I won't get all these phone calls from my neighbors, you know, sit you on the, hey, how much water we got yesterday? How am I supposed to
On the
know?
website.
Right.
Get a rain gauge.
Get a rain gauge. I go out and look at my rain gauge. I have one question on your report, the drainage concerns. You know, there's a couple areas that the drainage on roads, you know, there's 2. I mentioned once before about Lake Woodlands, where the drain is above where the road comes. If you go on the corner of North Panther Creek and Lake Woodlands, I'm telling you, one of these days a motorcycle is going to come through and hit that. And there's a big drain there, but the drain is like up here, and the road is down here. And then in front of Panther Creek Shopping Center by the Presbyterian Church, where Interfaith Way comes out, that is always full of water, half the road, you know, when it rains. And so, you know, those are just two areas that I can think of and that one in Lake Woodlands has been there for
A long time.
Is it the roadside ditch on Interfaith, or where exactly on Interfaith?
It's if you come out on Interfaith to North Panther Creek, where you come through, you know, where you can take a left, and right on your right-hand side is the entrance to the Panther Creek Shopping Center. That half that road is always full of water.
Agree with that one.
Well, isn't that precinct 3's responsibility?
Well, I think something we work with them on, or at least notify them where it is. I mean, I doubt if NOAC's driving around looking for this stuff. Anyway, that's just two areas that, you know, I'd like to see us at least look at before something happens there.
We'll take a look.
Any other questions for the general manager's report?
Only other thing we had was to determine your interest or to have a December meeting. That's another item that the other months are talking about.
Isn't that
Okay,
on
that's
the
fine.
agenda?
That's on the agenda.
Yeah.
Anything on the One Water Task Force?
We are looking at some dates, after Thanksgiving, and I'll be, sending those out. It's probably this week. The main other participant that we've been trying to get into the meeting, said that he's available after Thanksgiving.
Well, with the election coming up on the county commissioners, it would probably be good to try to get it moving. They might show some interest in it.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Eric. Hartley, Board of Trustees.
Page
report.
50 and 51, couple of highlight items. You'll notice that there's attorney's report about the 13 of the 14 resolutions passed,
Mhm.
one failed. And of course, that is the normal because the legislature has to approve those before they go on the ballot. So most of those have the approval of our legislators before they go on the ballot. Then our general manager asked that we give him input of things that we would like to include in our input to the 50th anniversary that's coming up. So if you have any suggestions like key dates that this building was built, when did we in fact form the JPA? When did we in fact let JP have an interlocal agreement that asked San Jacinto River Authority to do our wells and our loop system of sewer and et cetera. And for the attorney, the question, of course, is if we have an interlocal agreement with San Jacinto River Authority, saying that they're going to do things, is it still the responsibility of the MUD? Or is it San Jacinto River Authority's responsibility? And that's one of those things on the questions that we had, can you delegate responsibility? And I don't think you can delegate responsibility. Okay. You can delegate authority, not responsibility. Anyway, that's it. Any questions?
I don't believe so. Thank you very much.
Well, it's not on the agenda, but I want to make a comment, and I couldn't find where else to put it here. But the advisory group to the Spring Creek detention study has recommended that they suspend the study until we resolve issues related to the proposed solar farm on site. So a number of us have been trying to set up a meeting with Senator Creighton to see what he could do to help us resolve this issue. And we were supposedly going to have a Zoom meeting today with Creighton's office, one of his assistants, Chris Lacey, his policy advisor. But we postponed that on advice of the SJRA, since you're working on some additional information related to that.
I was saying, I got the email earlier from Chris, and an update was emailed to Eric.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Would you give a little history in that so that our recent additions to our board can understand how it came about?
Well, the two sites that the consultants studied a bunch of sites, and they really came up with two sites that offer the best chance of actually doing something. One's on Birch Creek and the other's on Walnut Creek.
This is to reduce flooding in our area.
Yeah.
So upstream, we want to get some areas that we can have holding ponds.
And because Spring Creek caused flooding in Creekside, in Timber Ridge, Timber Lakes, some in Indian Springs, and in Grogan's Point. And if I remember correctly, it's over 400 homes that have been affected by this. So we're in the second phase of the study now. They call it the feasibility stage. And we have this $1 million budget to do this, and we're about a third through. And our mud, along with 4 other muds, plus Humble, and is there anybody else along as, and the Texas Water Development Board, they put in $500,000. So anyhow, but there's a roadblock that's come up. Construction of a solar farm on Walnut Creek is currently underway. And conversations with the owners of the land, which is Rice University, and some other property owners, they're going ahead with the construction and just telling us that if you decide to go ahead with this project, you're going to have to pay to move all the solar panels that we're putting up. And
I'm not sure how much further we can go, and this is not on the agenda. Are we
well,
getting
it's
out of
just a
bounds here?
discussion, so there's no action involved.
I think it's okay, just discuss.
Okay,
So, and the land that is required for this detention facility is about 10% of the total land. And so what the advisory committee is pushing is to modify their construction plans to allow this to happen, and they're refusing to do so. So I want to find out if we can get some state money to actually fund modifying their construction plans, so we don't find out, go down the road later and have to spend $500,000 5 or 10 years from now to relocate these solar panels so we can build this detention facility. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Okay, well, shut up.
no, I just want to make sure we're not,
Yeah, we had significant flooding in Grogan's Point. Over 100 homes. And
Creekside Park too.
Creekside had several hundred.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Harley, on the trustees report? All right, item 17, in accordance with section 551071 of Texas Government Code, we're going to recess into consultation with the district attorney. So,
Do we really need to do this? And, but
we won't be too long.
but I would like to have the SJRA attend since it involves their water. Can we invite him?
We've actually already been in contact with SJRA's legal counsel about this, so we know their position on it right now. So I don't think he needs to stay. It's probably better to just keep it the board and Eric and myself.